Nobody more than me wants to better discuss how every single person you see on the screen will get their throat slit at one point. This Halloween, what everybody needs to know is who's gonna die and in what order. In this political race, there's only one winner, and everybody else ends up with the cranberry sauce all over the floor. When discussing this, we see obvious losers. We see who has diabetes in their blood sample. We see who looks like a hawk. And yes, that's Doug Burgum. Today, we're going to see who is going to lose the hardest. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. And the quieter the whimper, the more dead the mouse. And today, we're going to be talking about Mike Pence. Yes, Mike Pence recently got eviscerated on this channel. But better than that, Mike Pence has recently bowed out of the race. Yes, you heard that right. Mike Pence has thrown in the towel. And better than that, he, as a decaying 65-year-old man, has said, "Yes, I betrayed you, Donald Trump, but now we'll bow out of the race. So now you can't even get in with Donald Trump. Your ticket to Mar-a-Lago has been revoked. You are now not even pool boy at the White House. You are destined to go and do rallies to 5 people at basically the graveyard of places in any town, and that is going to be the old folks' home. Because the guy is going to be in campaign debt out the ass for years to come, because he had the folly, the absolute temerity of a fool, of a hard ass, to think he had any chance to run for president. And now he's bleeding out. Now he's looking for any band-aid off the ground, even if that means finagling crowds of 8 people at a pizza ranch, upwards of age of 70 years old, for the last vestiges of Reagan conservatism that can afford him to pay off his campaign debts, because the guy cannot get a clue, and no, he's not going to be president. And he said, "God told me I'll be president." Well, you take his words out of your damn mouth, because that could not be further from the truth. Again, we have Chris Christie, who for whatever reason thinks he still has a chance. Chris Christie is pulling at 2.5%. You hear that? 2.5%. It sounds awfully close to 2% whole milk, because he's built like a cow. And this guy has the audacity to go against Donald Trump. And for what? Back in the day when Fatty wasn't so damn old, but still just as fat, he sniped Marco Rubio and helped out Donald Trump. Now he can't even do that against the big man himself, and that's coming from a fat guy. Chris Christie cannot do anything right. He can't even lift a single finger. He cannot walk a block. He cannot instigate a fight on a debate stage. He plays second fiddle to the second fiddle in command, Ron DeSantis. The guy has no chance at doing jack diddly squat in the race. I would say he's getting his throat slit, but I'm saying his triple chin is going to get a little bit of a paper cut, folks. And by paper, I mean box cutter cut, because it's not looking good. Chris Christie has no other option but to not even run away bleeding out. I'm talking literally limping, languishing around like a slug with salt poured on its ass. Yes, it's looking bad. Doug Burgum is at under 1% of the polls. The guy cannot even get into the debate stages at this point because he does not have enough small-time donors. And the people that he did get to sign up only did it because if you donated $1 to Doug, you'd get a $50 gift card. I'm not even kidding. So if you're in the market for a $50 Visa prepaid gift card, he is the right candidate for you. But unless you're not broke, which in case, you know what, actually, Doug, I like you. But the fact is that he's polling at less than 1%. And he's from the Dakotas, so there's no home state advantage coming anytime soon for little Doug. It's looking tough. It's cold out there. Watch your throat. Moving on, we have Tim Scott. Tim Scott, the former McDonald's employee, or dare I say, the job appropriate for him. Through affirmative action, he has gone kind of far. Now he has a boyfriend in the Senate from the same home state of South Carolina in Lindsey Graham. But just like his campaign in 2016, Tim Scott's presidential ambitions will not go far at all. In fact, it's looking awfully tough. When he's running as a centrist, when he's running as this like black Reagan dollar store, Buckeyes mascot looking ass nigga, We frankly can't expect anything much more than this joyful guy. This joyful guy who just looks like he's in anguish whenever he talks. He looks like he's about to cry on the stage. He looks like if he were to get his throat slit, he would get on his knees and just cry about it. Tim Scott, it's fucking game over for you. Moving on to Nikki Haley. This young lady, and by young I mean over 50-year-old woman, is pulling at 8.3% in the polls. 8.3% is third place. Yes, Nikki Haley, who's been trying to be president for the last 7 years. Yes, you are not going to win. It's looking awfully pathetic. And she has no grassroots support. She's a better politician than Ron Gay Santos, but Ron still has more support. What does that say about your campaign infrastructure, Nimrata Haley? You light-skinned Indian. You are better than your cousin Vivek. And so it's almost game over for you. Moving on to your cousin. While the shit is still fresh from the street, Vivek is still on the loose. The juice is on the loose. Vivek, he's over here with not even 5% support. Folks, he's at 4.5% support. Do you guys remember when Vivek was actually doing well after that first presidential debate? When he looked like he had promise. It's not looking so good anymore. His campaign is resembling the receding of his hairline, as Vivek was almost at double digits at one point, at over 8%. Now he's down to less than 5%. Folks, it is game over for Vivek. He's looking like he's running for intern for Donald Trump at this point. Not the vice president spot that he wanted. And that's tough. Now for Ron DeSantis. Ron, you're polling at less than 15%. Ron, you are at less than half of where you were a couple months ago. Ron, what are you doing? Those fake Twitter accounts, those paid supporters on Twitter cannot save your campaign for long. These influencers cannot sweep it up for you anymore. Ron, your wife cannot be stealing the show at every campaign rally you do. Ron, these weak crowds cannot prop up any fledgling campaign that you've got going on. Your big donors are running away from you. The establishment is going back to Daddy Trump, and there's nothing you can do about it. You literally burned your golden child resume for what? Second place in a far-off race for the presidential nomination. You are a fucking fool, Ron DeSantis. It is game over for you. Donald Trump, you are winning the nomination, almost guaranteed. But you could die at any minute. You could have a stroke. Things could happen. Which is why you ought to take care of yourself. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yeah, you beat a bunch of junior varsity opponents, but Joe Biden kind of beat you last time. And we know not everybody gets a fair shake of things, and you most of all didn't. But the truth is that it doesn't matter who counts the votes. At the end of the day, a loss is a loss. Are we doomed to repeat history again? That's what everybody is asking. But as for me, it looks utterly, utterly tragic what the Republican Party has been subjected to. A bunch of losers. Who is the best competition for Donald Trump right now? Ron DeSantis, a literal skin-walking copycat, Mitt Romney acolyte cross-dressing loser with sausage fingers. Nikki Haley, who is a two-bit hoe who switched up on Donald Trump when it was convenient over January 6th. Mike Pence, the traitor, the Judas, who does not even have the dignity to apologize, repent, and take his own life. Instead, he takes the life and pulls a plug out of his own campaign so that he doesn't get more in debt. Because the nigga can't chase the brag. Instead, he has to go chase over the small-time donations of boomers that are reminiscing over the member berries from Ronald Reagan emanating from 45 years ago. It's an utterly pathetic state of things, but let's hope for the best. And so I leave this Halloween with a message that goes as following. Let's hope that you don't get your throat slit, Republican candidates, because it's looking rough out there. Best of luck. And to Donald Trump, let's bring that A game, because I don't want no tricks. So we better get treated with the ultimate performance in 2024. Until then, I'm gone.